good afternoon, and good evening. When you're tuned in, you're with Lady Business and Give It to the People Radio, where you're going to get enlightened, enhanced, empowered, and enriched. Make sure that you always tune in to Give It to the People Radio. All right. Hello, everybody. I hope you guys are having a marvelous day, because we are going to have some great stuff going on for you. So I want to welcome you out to Give It to the People. And my glasses are doing whatever they're doing, so I'm going to take them off for a second. But today is another great day in order to be able to let you know about a great business that is local in our community in North Carolina. This company is something that I've seen grow over the years, and I just can't wait for you guys to meet them, because we're talking about some money. We're talking about your kids. We're talking about them being smart and prosperous and productive. And I'm also hopefully talking about you not having to spend as much money on these wonderful kids that you have out here, because hopefully you'll get some help for your children, because they are probably really smart and you can help them and they can help you, so that this way you don't have to pay for college. So this is going to be something that I think is a really interesting topic, and something that I've been interested in for a long time, because I am personally one of those people that's a big believer that everybody should not go to college, that children have different paths. And so I just can't wait to see what these two wonderful educators have to tell us about their business today. So I'm going to bring them on right now in a second. Let's see. Ta-da! Hello, everybody.
Hello,
hey,
hello.
How you doing?
So listen, this is the other set of the Browns. So you know me and Mr. Brown, we got another set of Browns over there. So hey, cousins.
Hey, cousins. Hey, family.
We're a big
Yes.
group.
I know, right? It's like, it's one of those things where sometimes you just don't realize it, and then it's like that connection just keeps on growing and growing and growing. And then it's like, well, where are you from? Well, where are you from? And you got to kind of figure it out, and you know where we're really from. So we know the origins of things. But this is APlus Test Prep, and so I want them to be able to introduce themselves to you, Sheba and Vince. So tell them about your company, and I really want you to tell them how it started, because when I first met you, I met Sheba first, and then it changed the name of the company. So I just want to kind of, just tell me about what even made you start the company. And I'm really interested in like whatever the story is of you two working together as a couple, because I feel like that's got to be some type of awesome story too. So whoever wants to go first, go ahead.
Okay, well, back in 2011, Sheba was a high school teacher in Raleigh, North Carolina. She was an English teacher, and I was working as a finance director for North Carolina Central University's athletic department. And we first met and started dating. And when I would go over there to visit her, she always had a house full of kids. First, they were having so much fun and they were so engaged. At first, I thought they just was hanging out. But really, I realized that she was teaching these young people how to be successful on the SAT and the ACT at that time. And I'm like, okay, it's time for you kids to go, because I came over here to look into her eyes, not you guys. So after a while, it kind of clicked to me. It's like, wow, this right here, I saw an opportunity. And I'm like, Sheba, we could do something like this to start a business. And when I said that to her, she said to me,
I just want to teach. I do not want to run a business. I want to teach. No business.
Okay.
No business.
And I said,
Okay.
awesome. I said, awesome, babe. This how to go. This how to go. You will be the show and I will be the business. And that's really how APlus Test Prep was really born.
I love it.
The craziest thing that kind of to make it crazy is that the first thing we kind of did after we got our business cards, we got a simple thing as a yard sign.
Yep.
And we put a yard sign in her front yard of her house, and you couldn't tell us nothing. We had a legit full-fledged business.
Oh, wow.
Yeah.
Okay. I love that, because, you always want to I like to know the origin story of how things happened. And when I look at that origin story and I say, okay, well, what was going on first? Both of you were already educators in a way, right? And then you transformed this. What made you say, okay, I'm going to trust you enough to just take this knowledge that I have and turn it into a business, as opposed to, I'm just teaching?
Well, I wasn't really that trustworthy of the process at first, but I knew that Vincent had a finance background and had already owned a couple of businesses. So I know that he had that business success background. I mean, I had already.
We look like we're having a connectivity issue.
Uh-oh.
Hold on. Could you see me? Because I mean, you went out for a second.
Yes,
So
I can see you.
Okay. All right. So you said you trusted Vincent.
Yep, because I had a background in finance, had already owned a couple of businesses, and I knew that I knew my craft. And because I'd already tutored kids to some perfect scores in reading, some scores that allowed them to earn scholarships to college. So I once he talked about how we could make this partnership work, I knew it could work.
Yes, and I mean I think that that's a good thing because each person had their strengths. And then you built off of those strengths in order to make it something that was successful. And I would say, I would just posit, if there are teachers out there who are nervous about going from teaching to turning something into a business, what would you tell them?
If you know your craft, you can make it pay off in terms of a business. You absolutely can. You absolutely can.
One of the things that teachers have, they have this stuff called intellectual property.
Yes.
So they can start a business.
Why is my thing messing up today?
Can you still see us or hear us?
Okay, I'm here. I see, because it's like you guys keep going out. This has never happened before. I don't know what's going on. Okay.
We see you pretty good.
We see you great. Well, see, teachers have intellectual property. So they can start a business at super duper low cost because they already have it in their brain. Just get some business cards and you can become a tutor. You can advise parents how to work with teachers. There's so many things that they naturally do every single day anyway. They can just transition it and people will pay you for it. People pay for things for their kids to be better.
Yeah, and they need to. They definitely need to. So what is your biggest challenge as owners of this education company? Because I would imagine people know that their kids are smart, and then some people know that their kids are not as smart and they need some help. And, they want to be able to reach out to somebody and they want to be able to say, I know that you can help me, or I think that you can at least. What is that, that challenge when it comes to running this education company? Because I think sometimes you got to talk people into things, even though they know they need the help.
Well, I would say we have two major challenges. One, parents have completely changed. The way parents were parented is not the way they are parenting. And it makes it so much a challenge. Parents no longer believe in productive struggle for the beautiful child. Not believe in that. So parents want to make everything easy and fun and nice. And those are not recipes for success. It is not. And then I would probably say our second biggest challenge is just being an African-American owned company and maybe having different communities kind of challenging what our knowledge is. Now, how do you Black folks have an education company? You're not supposed to have something like that. So kind of dealing with things to that nature, probably like every other Black-owned or minority firm have to deal with when they're dealing with the majority.
Wow. And you know what? I just read this quote today, and this person was, talking about something on Instagram, and she was saying, no, you actually don't need my resume. Like that was the big thing. And then as you read into the information, she was just saying, so you've already gone to my website. You already see my certifications. You've already checked me out on social media, but yet you feel like you need extra in order for me to be good or qualified for you. And the thing is, when people go ahead and they do that research, and I've seen your website, when they go on there, they should be able to make a immediate decision of this is definitely something that's going to help my kids. But there's still, I guess, that stereotype that we may have to get over in order for people to make the right decision. Yeah. Wow. You know what? And it's a terrible thing, but I don't know if that's going to be something that's going to change. There'll always be somebody that has a bias. And this is the thing that I always believe in. The people that are supposed to be there for you will be there for you, because those will become your clients.
Right.
So, but as far as the clients that you have, very diverse though, as far as the backgrounds of the people that have come to you, what would you say has been like the biggest success story so far?
Our biggest success story so far, monetarily, we had a young lady out of Apex Friendship High School. She earned admission to 45 colleges. And Her 4-year scholarship total was over $4 million.
Stop playing with these people. Come on and give these kids this education.
Yes. So, when we say scores open doors to opportunity, we're talking about scholarships to college, internships, opportunities for advancement in your job. Our goal is for students to say, hey, at the end of my senior year, I have options. I can do this, and this. Here is going to be the best fit for me, as opposed to a family trying to struggle to figure out financially, how are we going to make some options come true for the son or daughter. We want this to be about options. But that's probably one of our biggest success stories. And then we see, what we do manifest in all of our children. All 4 of our children have done something very different. We have a student, one of our kids has done a 2-year associate's degree and then is going to transfer.
Hold up. It blanked out for a second. Oh, no, internet. Okay, you came back in. Okay, you said all 4 of the children have done something different.
All 4 of our kids have done something different. We've had our students have gone to HBCUs, large private institutions, out of state institutions. Our oldest has an associate's degree and is planning to transfer. So our own children have gone down a lot of different paths. And what we do is our business has enabled them to find a path that works for them. And that's what we want.
Well, you had some guinea pigs, right? So basically you got to practice on your own kids first. And then you knew it was going to work, right? Yeah.
Which is why that is really the first hat that Vincent and I wear. The first hat we wear is the parent hat.
Parents.
I tell every family, Vincent and I are not going to advise your family to do something that we haven't already. We wouldn't advise our own children to do. Because we're parents first, and parents want their children to be successful.
Well, like another success story, just ran into a parent this weekend at North Carolina Central University's homecoming, and I was asking her about her son, and he started out at a local university here, and it just didn't work out for him, and now he's a fireman. And one of the things that she shared with us, the skills that he learned in our class, helped him pass his fireman's exam, and that was excellent. Because one of the things we want parents to understand is that when they work with us, we're teaching kids how to be successful on standardized tests. Just not passing the ACT or the SAT. Because regardless of whatever professional career their child's going to go into, there's going to be a test. Even if you want to be a beautician, there's a written test. For a barber, for every good paying job out there, your rear end's going to have to pass the test. And that's what we help students learn. And when they get that confidence about standardized testing as a high school student, oh my God. Oh my God.
Yeah, but that's a big thing. And like, I have a friend who is, I don't even know, she's 50 something and she's not good at taking tests. You know what I'm saying? Smart, knows all kinds of different things, but just gets this anxiety, this nervousness, this apprehension, all of that when taking tests. And I would imagine that going through your program, the kids get the opportunity to kind of not necessarily get rid of it, but to reduce that anxiety and that confidence of knowing I know my stuff is a whole lot different than I'm just trying to read the night before and cram some stuff in and hope that I remember things from the whole beginning of the year all the way to the end of the year.
So like, one of the things we also like families, because Sheba and I, we feel like we are family advisors. Because like one of the things we try to get parents to see is that one, once you have that confidence with those tests and you can get those good scores, that these scores are going to open up doors for their children. And that's the whole big point.
Yeah. I mean, and I think it truly makes a difference. Now, I know, when people are like, well, what'd you get on the SAT? What'd you get on such and such? A lot of times I would say that, I'm not saying that the scores don't matter because they help you get that entry is what you're saying. But sometimes students go in a totally different direction once they get to college too. But it's about being able to get into the place first and foremost, and then you may be led in a different direction. Now, what do you say to this? Because I definitely want you to touch on this. When we talk about, and I wanted to title it that your kid's mind could get you the millions that you're looking for, where you don't have to pay for school. But there are some parents who are so hell-bent on their kids going and doing a specific thing that they're not allowing them to express, or sometimes they just don't want to even think that their kid could go a different direction. So when you're advising them and they're coming through the program, it's not just I'm taking tests, I'm not just learning that portion, but you're also helping the parent to kind of understand their child too, right?
Absolutely. It has to be a conversation. We encourage parents, when we have conversations, let's talk together. We're in the room, the parents are in the room, and the students are in the room. But it is frustrating sometimes. Students may come to us on the back end and say, hey, Ms. Brown, Mr. Brown, what mom and dad said that I wanted to do is not really what I really want to do. And we've had kids to even ask us, can you broker a conversation essentially with my mom or my dad about some other choices that I feel like might be better for me? And that's hard.
Yeah.
Right. Parents have to remove their own egos. Lots of times it's about, well, my child is going to apply here and go there and do this because they want to be able to go to the job or go to the church house and say, this is what my son or daughter is doing. And your ship has sailed. You need to allow your children to put up their own sail and navigate this for themselves and just be willing to help. Right.
Yeah. I mean, and it makes a huge difference when you have a support system. And I think that, that's something that to me just naturally comes with what you're talking about, because there are a lot of parents who did not go to college. There are a lot of parents who went to college and maybe didn't do well. And so, they have to kind of take into consideration. I loved when you said, sometimes people just want things to be easy, but in life, there is a natural uneasiness that happens with everything, with those ups and downs. So really kind of teaching them now that this is how life really is, can make a huge difference and make a bigger impact into, I think, the children's lives.
Absolutely.
Now, what would you say when we're looking at, because we talked about like what was the most difficult thing? What is the part where you're like, oh my God, I'm just really proud of this business. It's doing great in this particular area. I'm loving it. It makes me want to get up every day and teach these kids. What is that? What is that success portion that you just, you feel like it energizes you when you think about your business?
It's a whole bunch. I'm going to throw out one thing that happened just yesterday.
Okay.
So Vincent talked about, we ran into a student at, at homecoming. We went to a volleyball game yesterday. One of our good friends, her daughter is now in college on an athletic scholarship. We went to the game to see her play yesterday. But we've seen this young lady blossom. Grow up right before our very eyes. She came through our program. She is a living testimony of how scores and hard work open doors to opportunity. Now she's traveling the country and getting that college education, and her parents aren't stressed about paying for it. That right there that's amazing. Everything. That is amazing. That's our work made manifest. Absolutely.
Yes. And then you can really see that. And that I would say would be a rewarding aspect of what you guys do, is being able to see the different paths that these students go down. Now, one of the things that you do that I think is unique, because a lot of people don't know about it and it's new, is when you were doing the talking about NIL, right? And the name, image, likeness, and everybody that's playing sports. Can you just touch on that a little bit for people who don't know what NIL is, and then just a little bit about what your program is helping students to be able to do in regards to that?
Excellent. This is brand new, name, image, and likeness that student athletes now can benefit financially on their name, image, and likeness by receiving NIL endorsement deals. Say, for an example, APlus, we're looking for students to do NILs, and we're looking for a particular type of student. If you are a student that you're either academic all-conference or academic all-American, hey, we want to pay you to do some advertising or marketing or promoting for us.
Wow.
And so students have tremendous opportunities. So our program, we kind of work with students while they're in high school to kind of set themselves up to be a super attractive student for NIL. Now, number one, for a lot of them, if you're a top star athlete, hey, your job is done. But even you can be just a regular person. You don't even have to get a whole lot of playing time, and there still could be opportunities for people to benefit from your name, likeness, or your image, especially if that student has a lot of, or personally already followers on
Online.
social media. Right. So we kind of navigate and give families a kind of a game plan how to develop themselves to be even more attractive. Because one of my last job I had before doing this full time, I was finance director at North Carolina Central University's athletic department.
Okay.
And if I didn't put my signature on that piece of paper that said scholarship, that meant no money going with it. And you'll be amazed how many very serious conversations I've had with coaches. But I don't put my name on that piece of paper right there. That kid may get you a lot of what you need. I don't think he's going to get what his university needs, which is his degree. And at Central's level, they're going to go pro in something probably besides their sport. And so student athletes, just not athletic students. And so trying to help and prepare students before they get to high school, how to navigate your time management, the books, the classroom, and all of the demands on your time. And students have to realize that when someone is paying you a scholarship, they look at it as an investment. And
that's your job.
It's business. It's no longer fun. It is business. And so just helping students navigate and understand that as part of that program. That program is all about.
I have so many things I just want to discuss about NIL in general, because, me and my husband, we talk about stuff all the time and how it's going to change the landscape of education. And I just want just a little what you think on this. I see that a lot of students were trying to get out of college so they can go pro, right? But now if you get NIL, you might actually stay 4 years. You might stay 5 or 6 years if you are still eligible to be able to play and get your education, right? So this to me seems like more of an incentive to stay in school, because there are a lot of people that you might be the man, you might be the woman or whatever, like while you're in college, and you might not be going to the, whatever the popular league is, whatever your sport is that you play, but you might stay in college longer now as a result of NIL, which also means more funding for the college, and hopefully that more people would complete their degree.
Absolutely.
Well, one thing I have to say about that, as this great African-American amazing poet, Christopher Biggie Wallace, more money, more problems. And these 17 to 22-year-olds, some of these kids are getting $1 million contracts. Now, here's just one issue. We could talk about this all day. These kids are getting these endorsement deals with a lot of money, and they're getting paid as a 1099 person.
Oh, those taxes. And they don't. Okay, hold up. We're not going to get into this because I feel it. The taxes. Then you talk about not being able to qualify for other aid because now you make too much money, and that's a whole nother. Okay, I can't
more money,
conversation,
no problems.
Yes, it is. And then trying to take care of everybody at 17 and 18 years old. Okay, you know what? Wow. Okay, let's get back in.
Yeah, it's crazy. Yep. But anyway,
I could go on. I want to have a real longer conversation just about that aspect of it, because a lot of parents don't think about it. And it's so much that goes on with that. So let me just ask you this. So when you're looking at, the future of your company, what do you see as, let's just say a 5-year, 10-year future? Because right now you focus with, the main thing is high school, but it's not just high school students. You could work with some middle school students, definitely work with college students, and then also work with students that are even, trying to be in graduate school, right? So it runs the gamut as far as that student thing goes. What do you see, like if you're saying the projection for the future, what do you see that being?
Well, our immediate future is helping teachers get certified here in this great state of North Carolina. It's a code red, 911 red alert. There are a lot of districts out here that do not have a lot of certified teachers. So in order for this whole ecosystem of these kids doing better in schools, we got to have better and qualified teachers in the school. Yes. And so that's one of probably our fastest growing piece of our business right there. So if there are any teachers out there who are certified, we are looking for you. Yes, please reach out to us. We're growing so fast. We need more certified teachers to help other teachers throughout North Carolina to get certified. And then probably our 10-year or longer range goal is that we want to start a education business incubator. You know how here in Durham we have the American Underground, which is a startups. I want to have the same format for people who are passionate about education. So maybe I'm a nonprofit and I want to work with this type of person, whatever that is, but I don't have the infrastructure set up yet. So it's maybe like a little co-working space, presentation space, classroom space, a daycare space, all of that for people to help them get in there and grow it and go. Almost like a food hall, but an education hall.
I love it. I so love the idea. And I mean, you brought up a point that I don't think we pay as much attention to, even though your business does focus on the students. If we don't have good teachers to teach the students in the first place, people that are passionate about what they do, people that understand the new technology, understand the language that the kids are speaking, and understand also what motivates the kids, I think that that's a great thing. And that's why I love Abbott Elementary. I don't know if y'all watch Abbott Elementary, but I love that show because, you know, little Quinta Brunson, she just wants to teach the kids, right? And, you know, but it's a difference when you have a person that's really interested in what the kids really need, right? And that they're passionate about making sure that that happens. And so if a teacher is already teaching, do they need to get additional certifications in a different area? Like, let's say they're teaching, you know, I don't know, English, right? And then if they want to go into another direction, I don't know what that process is like. Like, what do they have to do?
Well, in the public schools of North Carolina, let's say if I'm an English teacher, I would need to pass something called Praxis, which is the licensing exam. So I would need to take the ELA exam for secondary language arts. If I wanted to turn around and teach biology, I would then have to take the Praxis exam for biology for the secondary level. So there are specific certification exams that public school teachers have to pass in order to be licensed in their area. So if there are any teachers out there who are looking to, they used to call it lateral entry, but now it's a different term they call it. But let's say if I work at a company out in RTP and I work in biology. And let's say that I decide one day that the corporate thing is not for me. I want to be involved with young people and I want to teach at the local high school. I have to, become part of a teacher prep program. And part of that program is going to be passing the biology licensing exam for teacher certification. And that's what we help teachers do. So absolutely. Okay. We help with all kinds of credentialing exams, nursing exam, real estate, you name it. We ASVAB for military enlistment. Anything. If there's an exam, we help students of all ages navigate it. Absolutely.
Wow. Okay. And I really didn't know that it was as extensive that they had to do a different test for each individual area. So just knowing that, because when I was reading some things and I was looking at people that homeschool, you know, there were certain certifications that they don't have to be homeschoolers. And that doesn't really make sense to me. But okay, I mean, I understand, but it's just still like, well, if you don't know this and you're not certified in this, and I'm not trying to say that you have to be certified to be able to understand how something works and how to teach something. But I'm also looking at, well, then it's a different standard for the teachers that are in regular schools, right? As opposed to if somebody is homeschooling. And so I think that that's an important thing. And even if you are homeschooling, I would imagine I would still want to send my kids over to APlus Test Prep because at the same time, it's still going to be that standardized test that they have to take. And it is different if I'm just at home with mom and dad and, brothers and sisters or whoever else is at the homeschool, even socialization wise, for me to be around all of these other kids now could be an issue. So I just think it's so many different facets to your business that people don't realize that can really be able to help their children. And then now we're also talking about the adults as far as them being able to pass these exams as well.
Yeah, one thing we all like people to understand with standardized tests. Just like with the driver's license test, which is a standardized test, it doesn't say if you get a perfect score on the driver's license test, it doesn't mean you're going to be a perfect driver. It just means you know the rules. It's the same thing with any of these standardized tests. It doesn't mean you're going to be a master of whatever you're doing. It's just letting the world know you know the rules. period. That's all it is. No one complains about the driver's license test or the CPR exam or the CPA exam or the cosmetology exam. Nobody's complaining about those.
Well, it's like when a mother said to me that day, she said, well, I just feel like, sometimes these standardized tests are just keeping kids out of opportunities. And I said, ma'am, have you ever had the occasion to hire an attorney? And she said, yes. I said, would you hire the attorney who comes to you and says, I got all A's in law school, but I couldn't pass the bar? And she said, no. I said, but so why are you asking? You're asking someone to trust just on straight word that your student can do X, Y, Z without there being some kind of standard for them to meet. She said, okay, that puts it in a different light. Right. We're just asking that we just meet a certain standard. On all of these tests, at the end of the day, what all of this requires is that a person be a good reader, a strong reader.
And that's important.
And that's important no matter what your job may be. And so when people ask, what can I do to help my kid get ready to take advantage of the services that APlus offers, have your kids read. That's why we're sitting here in front of this big library here. Read. It is reading. It is reading. A lot of times parents say what now?
And comprehension.
Reading and comprehension, but your comprehension won't get better unless you're reading. It's like in anything. Name something you can get better in without actually doing that thing. Comprehension gets better with the reading. What should they be reading? Read whatever. But like I have an 8th grader in one of my classes right now. That 8th grader is running circles around the high schoolers. Because that 8th grader comes in, the 8th grader might come in and open the phone and look at it and pop it back in the bag. But I look up and they are reading something. I said, what are you reading? Oh, it's a book in a series and about something. Okay, cool, great. When it's time to demonstrate that student can read at a certain level, they're running circles around the high schoolers. The high schoolers come in and sit down. You know what they spend their extra time doing? On their phones, on TikTok, on Instagram. I'm not knocking those things. They're great. But at the same time, we got to be putting something up here.
Yeah. I mean, and I think that's self-motivation. Yeah, that self-motivation. I could definitely see that it's just one of those things where it is also what the student puts into it, and so the parents could want, but the student also has to understand, listen, this is what I really want to do. And this is where I see myself going. And I know that, this way I'm smart enough to be able to go ahead and get this. I think it would be a great thing. And I don't know if you do this to kind of challenge kids to see, and may not want to do this, just depending, but who could get the most scholarships, like who could get the most money or the individual amount. I mean, because maybe it's not most money, but it could be how many scholarships you get, right? Like I think that would, as a student, I would challenge myself to do something along those lines, right? Like to be like, let me get the most. Well, okay, well, so you got more money, I got more than you. Like I just I would find individual gratitude in doing something like that personally.
But getting scholarships is work. I mean, we've had students to say, oh, does that scholarship application require an essay? Oh, if it does, I don't want to apply for that one. And I'm thinking, but it's for more money. The biggest scholarships require the biggest hoops to jump through, scores or essays or interviews, so you have to be willing to put that work in order to earn the money. Again, as mentioned, the scholarship an investment in you. So you have to demonstrate that you are definitely the candidate to make the investment in.
And it doesn't get easier when you do your own business. It's really the same thing. And I think it's the same way as if you give a person an application, it is going to keep certain people out, and so when you have this, where you actually have to apply yourself, you want to give the best that you can possibly give so that this way people can understand that they should invest in you. So I love it. I really think it's a wonderful thing. I'm very excited for you guys and just for, everybody that's working with you to be able to get the knowledge that I know that you're able to give, and then also to get that confidence that you instill in them. So tell everybody where they can find you online.
Online at APlus Higher Scores. You spell out APlus, APLUS Higher Scores, or at APlus Test Prep, APLUS Test Prep. That's our social media handle across the board. And our number, 919-824-3912. give us a call. You know, lots of times people sometimes just want to go on the internet or, you know, give us a call. We want to talk. We will talk to you. You know, we're not a company that's so big that you got to call and talk to a bot or anything like that. And you may have to leave a voicemail sometimes if we're working with other groups of students, but we want to talk to parents and to students and help you realize your educational dreams. Scores open doors, and we want to help you open more of them for you and your family.
All right. Well, I love it. Well, I want to just thank you guys so much for taking time out to be on here today. I know we had a couple little technical issues, but listen, it didn't cut off. So that's good. And I just really, I love what you guys are doing. And, you know, I remember, you know, when I was going, I had a tutor for some things, but I didn't have a company like this, you know, who was like an extra school, that extra little something. And I mean, I was smart and, you know, I got some scholarships, but I probably would have gotten more, you know what I'm saying, if I would have had a company like yours to work with. And I just think that the opportunities that what you are offering provides is something that is valuable and that people need to definitely know about. So thank you so much for being on. Everybody that's watching on a replay, make sure that you share it. Okay. You can always leave comments. And we're going to make sure that their contact information is also in all of the details so that this way you can go ahead and you can get in touch with APlus Test Prep. All right. Well, thank you guys so much.
Thank you. Thank you. Have a good one. All right. Bye-bye.
Show up and show out and continue to give it to the people. Bye, everybody.
Bye-bye.